We all know that feeling when you come across something so mind-blowing, it makes you question if your eyes are playing tricks on you. Well, it's not just you, archaeologists have those moments too. Despite years of digging, studying, and decoding the past, some ancient finds still leave even the experts completely stumped. What you're about to see in this video falls right into that category, discoveries so baffling, they challenge everything we thought we knew. Let's start off with number 15, the Valley of the Kings. When people hear Valley of the Kings, they think Egypt, and it's normal. But what many don't know is that Siberia has its own version, Xing Valley, rewriting history. In late 2019, Polish archaeologists uncovered the undisturbed grave of a 2500-year-old Scythian warrior king. He wasn't just buried with honor. His final resting place included gold ornaments and weapons that spoke volumes about his status. The burial mound, or kurgan, was nearly invisible, overlooked for centuries. Nearby, another mound had already been looted, but miraculously, this one was untouched. The Scythians were nomadic, stretching from Central Asia to Eastern Europe, but this discovery hints at a far more complex society than once thought, one that valued craftsmanship, symbolism, and ceremony. This grave could become a cornerstone for understanding how Scythian culture evolved, especially their metalwork skills and burial customs. It's the kind of find that flips long-standing assumptions and shows that Siberia wasn't just a frozen frontier. It was a thriving cultural crossroads with deep roots in warrior tradition. Number 14, the ancient hangover cure. Anyone who's ever woken up groaning after a night out might wish they had access to this forgotten gem from 1,000 years ago. A hangover remedy, buried in the pages of a 10th century culinary text called Kitab ibn Sayyar al-Warraq, offers what might be the world's oldest cures for post-drinking misery. The dish, known as kishkia, is a hearty stew made with chickpeas, meat, veggies, and a fermented yogurt called kist. While modern science hasn't verified whether it truly fixes a pounding head, the recipe has survived centuries of culinary tradition in Iraq and the northern Levant. The book itself, translated into English only recently in 2014, contains more than 600 recipes, some of which predate even the author's own time by hundreds of years. That longevity says something. Whether or not kishkia actually erases a hangover, the fact that people back then were just as desperate for relief as we are today, that part's easy to believe. Number 13, the monumental tombs of Luoyang. In Luoyang, China, what began in 2009 as a standard archaeological dig turned into a 12-year effort to unearth a tomb complex of staggering proportions. The central tomb, estimated to be 2,500 years old, is encircled by more than 200 smaller graves and an adjacent pit filled with horse skeletons and chariots. This grand resting place likely belonged to royalty from the short-lived but enigmatic state of Luoyang. The kingdom existed for just 113 years between 638 BCE and 525 BCE, making any evidence of its culture incredibly rare. Unfortunately, time hasn't been kind. Water damage has weakened the structure, and there are signs of grave robbery from centuries ago. Despite its scale, the site raises more questions than it answers. Who ruled Luoyang? Why did it vanish? What customs shaped this massive burial? Well, none of these are clear. What remains, though, is a rare snapshot of a forgotten dynasty that managed to leave behind echoes of its grandeur, even if its name barely survived history's memory. Number 12, Pharaoh Densit's solar boat. Archaeologists didn't expect to find anything new near Abu Rawash, just outside Cairo. After all, the place had been picked clean by 20th century digs. But then came the shock. A 5,000-year-old solar boat perfectly intact, believed to belong to Pharaoh Den of Egypt's first dynasty. The vessel measures about 20 feet long and 4 feet wide. It wasn't built to sail the Nile, though. This boat had a higher purpose. It was crafted to carry the soul of a pharaoh into the afterlife. Ancient Egyptians believed that the dead needed vessels for their journey beyond, and the elite, they got the best ships available. This particular boat predates every known Egyptian ship by over 500 years. It now holds the title of the oldest complete vessel ever found anywhere on Earth. That makes it not just a spiritual relic, but a game-changer in maritime archaeology. It's one of those rare finds that rewrite timelines and remind us just how advanced early dynasties really were. Number 11. The world's oldest port. In April 2013, Egypt added another heavyweight to its list of historical achievements, a port that dates back over 4,500 years, making it the oldest ever discovered. Found on the Red Sea coast at Wadi el-Jarf, it was likely commissioned during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, the man behind the Great Pyramid. The find included stone anchors and hundreds of fragments of ancient papyrus scrolls, some of which recorded details of copper shipments and workers' schedules. These scrolls also reference the transportation of limestone for pyramid construction, connecting the port directly to one of Egypt's most iconic structures. What's striking is the sheer organization of the place: warehouses, administrative records, and logistical coordination that rival modern shipping hubs. Before this, no one imagined that such an early port infrastructure could have existed. It rewrites not just Egyptian maritime history but challenges assumptions about ancient economies as a whole. The logistics of Khufu's empire weren't just impressive, they were centuries ahead of their time. But the whole story behind this finds is just a mystery. Number 10. Strange burials in the El Toro Hills. In the El Toro Hills of Jalisco, Mexico, archaeologists have spent nearly a century uncovering strange burial sites packed with artifacts that defy easy explanation. Items found here include objects made from jade, jasper, and lapis lazuli, shaped into pipes, plates, and masks, but what grabs attention are the figurines. Many of them feature humanoid forms with exaggerated features and what look like helmets, sometimes standing next to spacecraft-like shapes. These symbols aren't isolated either. They repeat across multiple graves, often surrounded by patterns that resemble a language, though one that's never been deciphered. Some experts dismiss these objects as modern hoaxes, but others argue that not all pieces can be explained away. There's consistency in the material, style, and placement that suggests deliberate burial, not random fakes. Even with decades of research, no one's pinned down who made these items or what they were meant to represent. Whatever the truth is, the mystery remains, and the El Toro burials continue to challenge the limits of mainstream archaeology. Well, it's just creepy, isn't it? Number 9. The Mongolian mummy with Adidas sits boots. In 2017, archaeologists in Mongolia's Altai Mountains unearthed a mummy so well preserved, it caused a stir. Not because of her age, she lived around 1,100 years ago, but because of her shoes. Her boots bore a design eerily close to modern Adidas snow boots, right down to the iconic stripes. While Adidas obviously had nothing to do with them, the resemblance is uncanny. It's believed the lady sewed them herself, choosing the look just because she liked it. Along with the boots, she had a comb, mirror, multiple outfits, and a neatly stitched handbag. But this wasn't just a fashion icon buried in the snow. Inside the handbag were goat bones, a sheep's spine, and a tiny bag within a bag holding a miniature cup. Some believe these items suggest she practiced spiritual rituals, possibly even witchcraft. A fashion-forward mystic? Maybe. Either way, her burial paints a vivid picture of life and beliefs on the Central Asian steppes over a millennium ago. Number 8. Red paint made of human blood. Back in the 1990s, archaeologists uncovered a Sunken culture tomb on Peru's northern coast. Inside, they found a gold funerary mask coated in deep red pigment. For decades, everyone assumed it was red ochre, nothing unusual for ancient burials. But in 2021, a closer chemical study told a different story. The red material wasn't ochre at all. It was a mixture of bird egg proteins and human blood. The implications are disturbing and fascinating. We don't know whose blood was used or whether it belonged to the buried person, but experts believe the choice was symbolic, perhaps a ritual of rebirth or transformation into the afterlife. The Sunken civilization thrived from the 9th to the 14th century, centuries before the Inca, and was known for its advanced metallurgy. This mask, a stunning gold artifact now known to hold traces of human sacrifice, adds a deeper layer to their burial customs. It's a stark reminder that sometimes the beauty of ancient craftsmanship hides something far more complex beneath its surface. Number 7. Sunken secrets of Thonis Heracleion. Long before it sank into legend and the sea, Thonis Heracleion was one of ancient Egypt's most vital port cities. By July 2021, the ruins off Egypt's coast gave up more of their secrets: an 82-foot military ship wedged beneath temple ruins and a sprawling burial complex nearby. And if you don't believe it, just Google it. The ship had been transporting massive stones, likely from the Temple of Ammon, when an earthquake struck. It sank instantly, still loaded, and got trapped under the collapsing structure. Just northeast of that canal, archaeologists also found a burial tumulus packed with luxury items from 2,400 years ago. The level of wealth buried here suggested someone of enormous status, likely Greek in origin. Thonis Heracleion had been a melting pot of Egyptian and Greek culture until disaster wiped it from the map. Today, its submerged remnants tell a story of trade, power, and sudden collapse. Every artifact raised from the sea adds another piece to the puzzle of this once mighty city, lost to nature but never forgotten by time. Number 6. The underground city of Kamakli. Long before modern nations drew their borders, people in what is now Turkey were carving out entire cities beneath the surface of the earth. One of the most impressive examples is Kamakli, an underground settlement that may be more than 4,000 years old. Built as a haven during waves of invasions and raids, the city stretches down 8 floors, though only 5 are open to visitors. The rest remain sealed, and for reasons still unexplained. Above ground, it's just another patch of rural Turkey. Below, a labyrinth of rooms, narrow passageways, wine-making stations, kitchens, and even a small theater carved into stone. Life underground wasn't a short-term solution. It was a strategy. Entire families lived there for generations. The structure is so well planned, it even had ventilation shafts and secure rolling stone doors to block entrances during threats. Whatever might be waiting in the bottom 3 levels, the Turkish government has never said, but even what we're allowed to see proves these people were far from primitive. Number 5. Ancient pig painting. In Sulawesi. Inside a limestone cave in Sulawesi, a life-size painting of a pig holds the title of the world's oldest known animal depiction. Estimated to be over 45,500 years old, the artwork was created using red ochre and shows the pig mid-stride, facing off what were once 2 others, now mostly lost to time. Above the animal, 2 human handprints linger, likely pressed there by the original artist. These weren't placed randomly. They seem intentional, as if marking presence or authorship. The cave, known as Ling Tidong, also yielded calcite deposits that helped confirm the painting's age through uranium series dating. The surrounding scene hints at storytelling, something more elaborate than just a painted pig. It's also the earliest evidence of human settlement in this region, pushing back dates of habitation far beyond what was once believed. The painting's survival offers more than just visual insight. It captures a moment of human expression preserved in rock long before history began recording itself with tools more formal than pigment and stone. Number 4. World War II shipwreck of Fujikawa Maru. Resting beneath the warm waters of Chuk Lagoon in Micronesia is one of the world's most iconic shipwrecks, Fujikawa Maru. Built in 1938 for cargo transport between India and South America, the ship's mission shifted dramatically just 2 years later when Japan's Navy repurposed it for war. During Operation Hailstone in 1944, American bombers struck hard, sinking the vessel with multiple Zero fighter planes and an A-6M still aboard. Decades later, the wreck remains surprisingly intact, cradled in coral and watched over by schools of tuna. The preserved aircraft still inside make the site a favorite for wreck divers. It's not just a graveyard, it's a floating museum locked in time. If the A-6M fighter could be raised without destroying the wreck, it'd be the only one of its kind left on Earth. But doing so would tear apart a site that's become part of history itself. Some stories are best left where they fell, especially when the ocean's done such a beautiful job of preserving them. What do you say? Number 3. Medieval bunions and fashionable pain. Pointed shoes weren't just a passing fashion trend, they left a mark, literally. In a study published in 2021, researchers in Cambridge, England, examined over 200 skeletons from medieval burial grounds and noticed an unusually high number of foot deformities. The culprit? A style of shoe known in the 14th century as polanes, now often compared to modern-day winkle pickers. These long, narrow shoes may have looked impressive, but they came at a cost. The study found that up to 25% of individuals from that era had bunion-like deformities, compared to only 5% in earlier centuries. People from the 12th and 13th centuries wore more practical footwear, and their feet showed far fewer issues. What's surprising is how widespread the trend was. It wasn't limited to nobility or court jesters. Fashion even then had the power to override comfort. And while today's heels and tight shoes spark similar conversations, this research shows that sacrificing foot health for style isn't a new phenomenon. It's just wearing a different shape. Number 2. The Sky Caves of Mustang. Tucked high into the cliffs of Nepal's Mustang district lies an eerie and astonishing network. 10,000 man-made caves carved straight into sheer rock faces over 150 feet above ground. Locals call them the Sky Caves, and honestly, that name fits. While nobody can say exactly when the first cave was cut, some estimates stretch back as far as 10,000 years. A more accepted guess puts them at around 3,000 years old. Initially used for burials, their purpose changed with time. By the 8th century, they'd become sacred Buddhist spaces, and by the 10th, some served as homes during local wars. Scaling a vertical wall to build or live inside one of these hollowed-out chambers is baffling even by today's standards. Yet people did it, generation after generation. A recent DNA analysis of some of the oldest remains links them to the Tibetan plateau, offering one more layer of mystery. These caves aren't just architectural feats. They're time capsules of an ancient civilization whose motives and methods remain largely unknown. Number 1. Homo sapiens jawbone. A small jawbone fragment found in Mislia Cave, nestled within Israel's Mount Carmel range, has raised serious questions about long-held assumptions in human history. Found in 2018, this bone, complete with intact teeth, has been dated to roughly 190,000 years ago. If confirmed as Homo sapiens, this find places modern humans in the Levant, nearly 100,000 years earlier than previously believed. That kind of timeline shift has implications not just for the African origin theory, but also for how we understand the movement of early populations across continents. The region is no stranger to prehistoric discoveries, but nothing from this period had ever surfaced before. Some researchers suggest the bone might belong to a now unknown hominin species that could have interbred with both Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. Regardless of classification, this fragment challenges neat narratives and timelines. Human evolution, once viewed as a clean progression, is now looking more like a messy web of interconnections. And this tiny fossil just forced us to redraw part of that map. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you soon in the next one.